Supreme Court asked Rajasthan to state what action it has taken in the alleged lynching of Akbar Khan. New Delhi. The Supreme Court on Monday asked the Rajasthan government to state within a week what action it has taken in the case of the alleged lynching of dairy farmer Akbar Khan on July 20, following its directions on the incidents of cow vigilantism. A bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Misra considered the plea of Congress leader Tessin Poonawalla seeking initiation of contempt proceedings against the state's officials, including the Chief Secretary and the DGP, for alleged violation of the top court's verdict in the Alwar Lynching case. The top court had on July 17 said that horrendous acts of mobocracy cannot be allowed to overrun the law of the land and issued a slew of guidelines to deal with mob lynching and cow vigilantism, besides asking the center to consider enacting a new law to sternly deal with such cases. The bench, which also comprised Justices A.M. Khanwilkar and D.Y. Chandrachud, also took note of the fact that only Maharashtra, Punjab and Chandigarh had filed compliance reports after the court had directed all states and union territories to take steps to deal with the offences of mob violence and cow vigilantism and file a compliance report by Monday. It directed Rajasthan's Principal Secretary of Home Department to file an affidavit within 7 days detailing the action taken by the state government in the case. It also asked the remaining states to file their compliance reports by September 7. At the outset, senior advocate Indira Jaising sought criminal action against those police officers who had failed to take the Alwar victim to hospital in time, which had led to his death. Mr. Poonawalla, in his plea, said the 28-year-old dairy farmer Akbar Khan was attacked by a group of cow vigilantes in Lalwandi village of Ramgarh district in Rajasthan on July 20, 3 days after the top court had delivered a detailed verdict. Akbar Khan, a resident of Haryana, and his friend Aslam were transporting 2 cows to Kolgan through a forest area when the mob had attacked them, thinking they were taking the animals for slaughter, it said. While Aslam managed to survive as he hid in the fields, the crowd killed Akbar Khan, it said, adding that there was a considerable delay in taking the deceased to a nearby hospital where he was declared dead on arrival. Advertisement. The contempt plea has alleged that the incidents of mob lynching and vigilantism were taking place despite the top court verdict in this regard. Court had issued a slew of directions to the government to provide preventive, remedial and punitive measures to deal with offences like mob violence and cow vigilantism. It had asked the state governments to designate a senior police officer, not below the rank of superintendent of police, as nodal officer in each district. These nodal officers should be assisted by a DSP rank officer in the district for taking measures to prevent incidents of mob violence and lynching, it had said. The officers shall constitute a special task force to procure intelligence reports about the people who are likely to commit such crimes or were involved in spreading hate speeches, provocative statements and fake news. The states shall forthwith identify districts, subdivisions and/or villages where instances of lynching and mob violence have been reported in the recent past, say in the last 5 years. The process of identification should be done within a period of 3 weeks from the date of this judgment, as such time period is sufficient to get the task done in today's fast world of data collection. The Secretary, Home Department of the concerned states shall issue directives, advisories to the nodal officers of the concerned districts for ensuring that the officer in charge of the police stations of the identified areas are extra cautious if any instance of mob violence within their jurisdiction comes to their notice, the 45-page verdict had said. The judgment was delivered on a batch of petitions including Mahatma Gandhi's grandson Tushar Gandhi and Congress leader Tessin Poonawalla seeking formulation of guidelines to curb incidents of mob violence and lynching in the country.